Recently in Destiny 2, as a community, we unlocked the Felwinter's Lie shotgun for doing the Seraph Tower event, which is the main PvE activity for this season. Even so, some people didn't contribute and never completed a Seraph Tower, even though there's fantastic rewards for completing them. What I'm talking about is warmind cell mods, and my endgame build takes advantage of those. For example, starting at the helmet, we have the Tyrant Surge mod, which comes from the seasonal artifact. Dealing damage with my arc, melee, super, or grenade spawns a warmind cell, and on my gloves I have Hammer of the Warmind, which means destroying the cell causes disruption and stagger. The mod on my chest piece is Surge Detonator, so arc grenades cause disruption. Notice I am using an exotic, the Heart of Inmost Light, where if I use an ability, it powers up and reduces the cooldown of another ability, which is convenient because I use Top Tree Striker to have 2 grenades. Now, on my boots, I use the Power of Rasputin mod, which means if an enemy is near a warmind cell, I gain a bonus to weapon damage. On my mark, I use the Global Reach mod, which increases the explosive radius of warmind cell detonations, except it doesn't really work with Tyrant Surge, so I substitute it with Hive or Fallen armaments very frequently. Note that if you use any warmind cell armor mod and a warmind weapon like the 7 Seraph Officer Revolver, any of these 7 Seraph weapons on kill have a chance to spawn a warmind cell, so if you're going all into these kind of builds, it's best to use 7 Seraph weapons. Even after the seasonal artifact goes away, these weapons will be very valuable to a warmind cell build. I haven't even tapped into the potential of combining warmind cell builds with the Charge of Light stuff from previous seasons, but these weapons will be a very compelling side grade to go for, at the very least for just upping your arsenal for warmind cell, Charge of Light, and whatever future seasons bring, and combining all that stuff together. Maybe at that notion, you might be inspired to tackle the Seraph Towers to obtain some of these weapons or any of those very powerful mods. This brings me to the point of today's video, which is providing feedback and reviewing the Seraph Tower event, because coincidentally, the other MMO I play, yes, I consider Destiny 2 an MMO, the other MMO I play, Phantasy Star Online 2, also this season had a tower defense activity a la Seraph Towers. And I think it'd be fun to compare the two. I've easily put in 20 plus hours to the Seraph Towers already this season, so I think it'll be a fun little experiment. The Seraph Tower I'll be reviewing today is the one on the moon, just because this is the one I happen to queue into, because the matchmaking is very inconsistent. Sometimes you don't find other people, and it's very hard to fill an instance with as many people as possible. Ideally, you have 4 fire teams of 3, so 12 people. The crazy thing is that's the exact same number in Phantasy Star. The bottom line in Destiny 2 is that the matchmaking needs to work for the activity to have reasonable difficulty. If you only have 3 people, it's very, very difficult to complete the activity. But if you have 12 as intended, I think it's intended, it becomes virtually effortless. The state of public event matchmaking is very unfortunate because even if you do have a low man completion, like a 4-man completion, the rewards aren't necessarily better, which is a problem because why would you even try to do this the hard way when you can just keep requeuing and keep requeuing and keep requeuing for 30 minutes until you get 12 people. Now, for what you're doing in the activity itself, let me quickly explain. You defend these towers from any enemies, keep them off of these squares because if they step within the square, the tower does not spit out these balls. Once you grab one of the balls, you throw them at the orange orb at one of the 3 towers, and the orange orb moves towards the central tower. And when it touches the central tower, you get a % increase to your prep %. And as it increases, you also get more enemies and more powerful enemies to deal with. Once you get the prep % to 100, 2 enemy champions spawn, and while this does sound menacing, they aren't really difficult to defeat. Even on your own, you can still defeat the 2 champions pretty easily. But if you do run into trouble at any point in this activity, you can use your resources in the central tower to spawn an ally that is very helpful to defeating any enemy. Overall, the main difficulty of this activity stems from matchmaking and not the activity itself. Maybe that results from me playing this game too much, achieving mastery status, having an in-game build. Maybe that's why it doesn't feel difficult. But also, if it's not going to be difficult, it should at least be very fun. Maybe I'm just burned out at the concept of throwing balls at something as an activity in Destiny 2 because I'm burned out from the Black Armory Forges from way back when, and I've been doing them consistently since the activity came out. but I can't be 100% sure, so sound off in the comment section if you find this activity fun, if you find it difficult, meaningful, and engaging. For this activity to be any of that to me, it has to be difficult, and that difficulty has to be rewarded. An example of this could be right when you start the activity, an additional menu pops up that says, do you want to do the heroic version? It's a lot more difficult, you're gonna need 12 people, and all 12 of you need to be ready for what's about to go down. And if you beat it, you get a reward that is intentional, meaning that you get to specifically choose what weapon and perks drop for you, so you spend less time mindlessly grinding and more time using what you find fun. I understand difficult content in Destiny might be a foreign concept, but it doesn't always have to be that way. Imagine that there's two paths to the same end result. You could do the easy version for up to 40 hours if you're unlucky, to get the specific god roll that you want by just getting lucky and getting multiple versions of that gun until it's the exact one that you want. Or you could spend 40 hours getting good at the heroic version so that you can curate the loot that you want. It's both going to take a lot of time of player engagement to complete the activity, but the difference is one of those is guaranteed and it promotes replayability by nature of improving. That's ultimately the magic sauce that Destiny is missing for me in PvE. So since I have the platform to talk about it, why not? And it would be very helpful again if you sound off in the comment section if you agree or disagree with any of this stuff. At this point, I've said all I really wanted to say about Seraph Towers, so the gameplay is going to be sped up until I reach the champion section. In case you missed it, I'll mention that recently, I held a $1,000 PvE Grandmaster Nightfall Marathon tournament. The rules for that meant that they had to go through all 6 Grandmaster Nightfalls in one single sitting, get a recording done, and the fastest time won the prize, and the most creative yet competitive build also won a bonus prize. So it was a very cool event, and is kind of what I've always imagined would be the pinnacle of in-game Destiny difficulty. So I hope that that kind of task gives some sort of example to what I'm talking about here. The last video I posted was a commentated version of the winner's run from my tournament. It was cool. Me and all my buddies were doing commentary breaking down exactly what our champions did in these Grandmaster Nightfalls. Maybe champion's the wrong word for that because there are an enemy called a champion? I don't know. But the point is, you're pretty much seeing what the Seraph Tower is in the background, and we're about to move on to Phantasy Star Online 2. So there it is, we completed the Seraph Tower. The champions fell like hot knife to butter, just easily cut through, and here are the rewards. What do I get? Get a couple warmind bits. I watched some Rasputin sweeper bots get shot. I get a blue chest piece, more warmind bits. I get a machine gun, a submachine gun, and that's about it. Now, moving on to Phantasy Star Online 2, let me give you some quick backstory on what the game is. It's an action RPG MMO with a gameplay loop very similar to Destiny. In fact, this is the game series that got me into Destiny in the first place, because the earliest version of the game I played was called Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2, and it originally launched on the Dreamcast, which makes it one of the first, if not the first, action RPG MMO online. So that was a really cool concept back then, and at the same time, I played Halo, you know, Bungie's first-person shooter, don't know if you've heard of it, and later down the line, I obviously got into Destiny, which is the series that combines both of those concepts beautifully, which lends itself to why I love the series so much. So, Phantasy Star Online 2 is the most modern version of Phantasy Star, and it launched originally in 2012 in Japan, and any year after that I thought it would release in North America, but as fate would have it, it released in 2020. So that's why I am regressed and going back to play Grandfather PSO2. But just because it's an 8-year-old game doesn't mean that's a negative thing. I mean, it's had 8 years to flesh out content and improve the user experience all along the way. I don't know if it's just that good of a game, or if gaming in general has just had a sad state of affairs in the teen years, and it stands out as good. I can attest, this game is fantastic. So with that out of the way, what are you seeing in the background? Well, 12-man activity where I grabbed a couple of my alliance members and combined with another alliance or a clan in Destiny to complete a difficult public event, aka a difficult Seraph Tower. If you search public matchmaking, you'll get into a 12-man group, but the quality of player that you get in that 12-man group might not be good enough to complete the activity. My group has 12 players, all max level, and most of them have endgame stuff. My build is completely maxed. I have the best weapon, it's fully maxed out. I have max level, and both my main class and my subclass are maxed out. Now, I don't play the most competitive build, but it's still more than enough if I had 12 people like me to get the completion if we're playing correctly. First, I'll quickly describe my build. I play a ranger main class. That means I use an assault rifle and a rocket launcher, or in this case, a champagne bottle because that's the weapon camo I use. The assault rifle is really good for boss damage, and the rocket launcher is really good for crowds. The subclass that I use is called Tector, and it involves an array of support magic, or in this game they call magic techniques. But anyway, an example of this is a spell that increases my teammates' attack power, a spell that increases my teammates' defense power, another spell that gravitates all enemies to a central point, another spell that turns me into a lightning bolt and jets me forward. This one's really important because of the nature of this activity. But anyway, I have support magic, but that comes at the cost of damage potential, because otherwise I'd use a subclass that gives me more damage with my rifle and my launcher. So now that you have a basis for what my character build is trying to accomplish, let me explain what you're about to see in terms of the activity. There are 4 towers to defend, and we have 8 waves of enemies. And each wave, the enemies get increasingly bigger in number and more menacing. Around the map there are crystals scattered, and if you collect the crystals, you can use these crystals as a resource to buy turrets and a mech, like a mech suit, called an AIS. The crystals can also act as a resource for repairing the towers or providing a barrier that does damage to enemies around the tower. Periodically during an enemy wave, a tower might become infected with the darkness. I mean, Destiny has the darkness too, but in this game they're called fall spawn. So anyway, if your tower becomes infected, you just shoot off the infection and go about your day. The enemy has their own arsenal though. They have airships that can shoot missiles at you, and they also have their own turrets that they can employ that charge up a laser that really damage your tower. As you get into the later waves, you also have boss fights, so it's best to save your AIS or mech for later. And that's really what we're about to see here. So I will try to explain what's happening on screen as it happens, but for now you see in the background, my team is organizing together. Everyone is trying to set at least 3 people to each tower so that every tower is accounted for. And the callouts get pretty wild as it continues because, as I implied, this is a very intense event. I'll take a quick second to say thank you to the Alliance of Zenith Arcs for including me and some of my Alliance members in this activity. It was very fun, and I hope to do more in the future. Thanks for showing me the ropes. So now that our battle plan was in motion, we set the teleporter to throw us into the activity, and it counted down and we began. So immediately, I start using that lightning movement ability and my rocket ride to go around the map and collect crystals so we have more resources to use later.
Is it a guaranteed like 5 crystal that spawn in each corner of the map?
Alright, wave starting.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. We'll pop all so you go.
So immediately on the first wave, all the enemies spawn to the north near the purple tower. So I'm deciding between both of these Jumpmans on whether I should help with the fight or go collect some crystals. So I decide to shoot 1 rocket at that glob of enemies because I have a special rocket round that binds enemies into place so they can't move. Obviously, this is successive difficulty, so the first round is pretty easy, but still, I'm trying to do what I can to still contribute to the team fight.
There was that.
So with the first wave out of the way, in between the waves, I do my best to collect crystals very rapidly since my character does have very good movement, and before you know it, it's already time for wave 2. Note that at the end of each wave, the results are shown, which rank your contribution from 1 to 12. Although this doesn't really mean anything, it's a good metric for understanding what you need to do more of. With my character build and role, ideally I should be around rank 7 every single time, and that's mostly because I have half support abilities and half damage abilities. So I can support my teammates sometimes, or I can dish out damage otherwise, so I'm always moving between multiple jobs. As we get into the later waves, of course team communication becomes that much more important, but for now the callouts are pretty simple. It's just saying like, green's getting kind of overwhelmed, so I'm helping with crowd control there. I see there's a mini boss, so I will handle it as best I can. Since I'm doing this, someone handle that fall spawn turret near the white tower, and I'll go back there to collect crystals as soon as we clear. Alright, I'll make a crystal run real quick.
White tower is about to get infected.
Okay, I'm taking it out right now.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go pop the. Got it.
I would save the barrier if possible. See if you could just break it.
At some point I realized I made a fatal error and did not have any of the in-game music playing.
Hold the crucial in the corner with its round ends. Mustache.
No problem. Okay. Autumn and Candy Case got on the board. Autumn is a big fan of your channel, they were saying earlier.
Oh, okay.
They say you were the one that got the PSO2 from Destiny, so they were really happy.
Excellent. How are they picking up the game?
They said they love it, so...
You know, I figured. I made that recommendation because PSO got me into Destiny, so like the other way around makes sense
really?
too. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I thought that was really cool that in this alliance some of my subscribers were in it and they tried the game out in the first place because of my recommendations and they're enjoying it as well. So again, I'm just pointing out that's really cool and I'll get back to explaining what's happening on screen. So again, a mini boss just appeared and it started attacking the tower, and so we're just gonna take it out real quick.
There's an infected ship hanging out near purple.
Yeah, I got you.
Ship's down. Hitting moons, I got you.
Oh, thanks. We got 2 towers on the west side.
I'm focusing tower near gray.
Before that happened. Perfect, man. This is going very smoothly so far.
This is going very smoothly so far. Or so we thought.
Near the end of the rounds, there's only a few labs and the bosses. I just suggest breaking it.
Oh, we got a lot going towards
Gray's gonna need help.
Gray,
Gray tower.
come over to Gray.
Oh, man. Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, Gray got flooded.
I'm hitting him with
Oh,
the
it's
crowd control.
Just lost
There you go. Oh, was that quick? Holy shit.
Holy cow.
So yeah, in the blink of an eye, we went from a nearly full health tower to completely destroyed. And now we only have 3 towers left.
Purple.
Oh!
I'm working on ads.
I'll see if I can get this one off.
Alright, grouping together.
Thank you.
I'm gonna keep grouping. While everyone's here, I'm gonna hit us with bathroom res. I'll do that once I'm res.
Got one.
I got a move from there.
Thank you. Need the ship over green.
Arc ship.
Green's gonna need help in a sec, so get around. I'm going to green right now.
I'm at purple.
I'm at purple as well.
Yeah, we gotta get at least that second AI's food.
Alright.
I'll try to blight the head as soon as I can.
On purple side with a boss.
I got
There you go. Enjoy.
an
So what I just did there is in wave 6 a boss spawns and I loaded a round into my rifle called a blight round, which wherever I shoot creates a red ring, and within that red ring everybody does extra critical damage. So the fact that I put a red ring on the head of the boss, which is already a critical spot, means that our damage goes through the roof whenever that blight round is applied. The green, okay.
Yeah.
I'll take him out as best I can.
Alright, green's gonna need to back up.
Is he dead? No.
No, not yet. It's gonna explode. We need. Oh, we got it.
We got the bomb. Yeah, we got the bomb. Bomb's done.
All right, yo, we gotta get back.
I'm keeping DPS up.
Yeah, Sam.
Weak bulleted, base.
All right.
Green's gonna need a little bit of defense. I'm still working boss.
Yeah.
I might as well use the turret too.
Okay, we got.
Good job.
Way
I'll recover some integrity on that again.
Yeah, I have no more barriers or restoration, so.
Man, I remember just giving everybody health back.
Alright, yeah, it's
Oh
time.
man, there's a whole bunch of infected towers.
We're kind of caged in here. AIS needs to bust us out. Nice, nice, we're out. I'm working on towers, that's my job.
I think they got
Turtle north.
These Souls Abradas, like on the outskirts of the
Purple res.
map, are the ones who caused the towers to
Thank you.
get off.
I'm taking out infections, green. Killing towers, west.
I'm out of
Lighted ship.
We got a person down.
Ship about to die.
Yeah,
Ship gone. I'm burst burying it.
Thank you.
I'm on crowd control now. I'm dragging him away.
Really, everyone used all your AIs this last round.
Yeah, it's AIS.
I'm AIS for
Three
green.
back to back.
Alright, going.
If you're having these weird, what's it called? Covert.
Yeah.
I'm getting towers. Working on the ship.
Heading back
Green's about to go.
Killing green tower.
Alright, Green's gone.
Green's down to lost green.
Lost on purple, I'm heading to purple. Tower.
Make sure you use your laser.
Yep, I'm getting another AIS.
Now,
AIS.
There we go, got it.
he's got a bomb going.
Oh, lots of stuff going to blue.
Alright, you said laser, I'm green laser.
Yep. Make sure you laser.
Alright, bomb's on it.
Alright. Make sure you cover. Let's go.
Wait, there's no archers in here?
Not yet.
I thought I saw a target.
Do we?
I thought
Alright, back in AIS,
yeah.
ready.
Make sure we cover that.
Alright, how do I exit the AIS?
You can hover over
proton.
it and then press the stick if you're on like.
Alright, let me think about this for a sec. Hover over it
It's
and
the far
press the stick.
photon.
And that, my friends, is the activity called Tower Defense 3. Despair mining base, something like that in Phantasy Star Online 2. Anyhow, as you can see, in round 7 and 8, we used the AIS and pretty much truck everything because we had good resource management, so we had extra mechs. Here are my rewards. It's a lot of weapon called Deo weapons, or Dio weapons as they're known in Japan, and basically you just convert those weapons into a material that's very valuable long term, so this was worth doing, even if I didn't get lucky with any epic drops, but I thought it was fun, and I hope this serves as a decent comparison to the scale of difficulty and communication required for a simple public event. Yo, what about this group photo though? I'll put this on Twitter, I thought it was fun.
Oh yeah, even better.
Anyway, that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you do some Seraph Towers to up your arsenal with those mods because they are going to be very fun in the future. And maybe give PSO2 a shot if you're not feeling Destiny difficulty. Right now, PSO2 is on Xbox, but it's about to drop on PC on the 27th. So mark your calendar, I'll be streaming all day on the 27th. And shortly following this video, I plan on making a Welcome to North America guide for Phantasy Star Online 2. So see you there.